Hey, what's up, guys? This is Simon. How's everyone doing? Today is February 23rd. It's Sunday again. Today we have some very nice weather here in Shanghai. Just a little bit windy. Other than that, it's perfect. Actually, today I want to talk about something different. Just trying to get away from this very sensitive topic that has been discussed by the world over and over again. And whenever you talk about that, your video will get demonetized instantly. So we don't want that happen again, right? So, anyways. I think I've been uploading videos on YouTube for more than a year and a half now, and throughout this journey I have received all kind of comments from all of you guys across the world, and I really appreciate all those feedbacks. Sometimes I will make videos talking about things happening in China, and some agree with me and some disagree with me, which I think is perfectly fine. Sometimes I even think the comments that disagree with me hold more values because it allows me to see things from a different perspectives. Just name one thing. Last year I made a video comparing mainland China and Taiwan, and inside that video I mentioned that comparing to people from Taiwan, I think people from mainland China are not that friendly and hospitable. Then some comments underneath that video disagree with me. It was like, hey Simon, your experience only represents your own experience. It doesn't mean the majority of Chinese people are like that. Then last year we went to Xi'an for a short trip with my family, and it turns out that the comment is right. The people we met in Xi'an are all very hospitable and friendly, and we all had a very wonderful experience over there. So yeah, it turned out that the comment was right, and my view at that time was limited. So actually, I have learned a lot from all those comments that disagree with me as well. So anyways, most of the comments fall into those two categories: either disagree with what I said or agree with what I said. But very few times I will receive some very special comments that start calling me anti-China or even call me a foreign spy. And when I received those comments, I was like, wait, why? What? How can I become a anti-China? So I checked all my past videos and see if there's any anti-China elements. Now I found out that one of the big reasons why some people call me anti-China is probably because sometimes, I will make video talking about things that I think our government didn't do very well. I collect all those videos and I try to summarize those points I want to make from those videos. Basically, those videos want to make the following points. Every single Chinese should be protected by the rule of law. Every single voice should be respected, and the people from the top should be scrutinized by the general public. Those are the main points I want to make. So I checked those points again, and I don't think those points are actually anti-China by any means, because you can get out on the road in China and just grab a random person and ask him, do you think every Chinese people should be protected by the rule of law? Absolutely necessary, right? And do you think every single voice should be respected? Even some voices are not 100% correct, but you just should give them concrete argument, tell them why they are wrong, but you shouldn't censor people on the internet. And do you think we should come up with a better system to prevent people on the top from doing whatever they want? I would say any reasonable Chinese people will say yes. So how do I become anti-China? Sometimes, to be honest, I just feel so unfair for our average Chinese people. Because I've been sensing a little bit double standard here. When people from the West, they make criticism towards their country, their prime minister, their president on the internet with very harsh words or salty language, I don't think they will be labeled as like anti-America or anti-Canada or either anti-Germany. They're just trying to share their opinion openly, and they are just trying to point out the thing that they think the government didn't do very well. And I think others will even consider them as patriots. But when our average Chinese people try to make some mild constructive criticism towards our government, we will instantly be labeled as anti-China. I mean, why? How can I become anti-China, and why all of those guys are not being anti-America or anti-Canada? What the heck is going on here? Why the double standard? And some people may be like, hey, maybe it's just a cultural thing, because patriotism in the West means doing the thing that you think is right for the country, not the government think. That's why inside a lot of Western movie, the protagonist always acts alone and try to save the world by himself, while the antagonist always turns out to be someone hiding behind the government. While in China, patriotism usually means being loyal and being supportive. So that might be the reason. It's a cultural thing. But then I did some research. I know that was totally wrong, because throughout our 5,000 years of great Chinese history, some of the most renowned patriots have expressed their very different view from the government openly. And they are not be considered as anti-China. So for the sake of time, let me just share some of them with you guys. Now, the first one is called Sima Qian. He's the greatest Chinese historian. He was born in the Han Dynasty. He wrote the most important history book called Shi Ji, also known as Records of the Grand Historian. So basically, the book covers the first 2,500 years of Chinese history. In his book, he portrayed the emperor at the time as a ruthless, treacherous king who has betrayed his loyal official. And later, Sima Qian went against the king's will, and he tried to defend an official he respected. What happened after that? He got his dick cut off and was sent to prison. Pretty sad story, right? And the second one is called Lu Xun. Actually, Lu Xun is just his pen name. His real name is Zhou Shuren. Anyways, he's one of the most famous Chinese writers, critics. He was born in 1881 and he went to medical school in Japan. But later he dropped out and came back to China to become a writer, because he thought studying medicine won't be able to save Chinese people. Throughout his career, he wrote multiple books criticizing his government, and he even criticized his own people for being ignorant. For example, trying to cure a disease by eating a steamed bun with other people's blood, or being obedient all the time and never try to fight back. Now, the third one is called Sun Zhongshan, also known as Sun Yat-sen. He's the founding father of the Republic of China. This guy also used to be a medical student in Hong Kong. At that time, he wasn't very satisfied with the current regime, Qing government. Guess what he did? He led a rebellion group and then overthrew the entire Qing dynasty. That's a pretty savage man, right? Those guys, every single Chinese know them. You can go out on the street in China and grab some random people and ask them what do they think about those people. Are they anti-China or pro-China? I'm pretty sure almost every single one will say they are pro-China. No one will think they are anti-China because he has criticized the country or people, or because he made a king look bad in the history book, or because he overthrew the previous regime. Anyways, my point is we shouldn't label someone anti-China just because he or she says something negative, right? Instead, I think we should focus on what he or she has said. And if you disagree with him, tell them why you disagree. Give your valid point and give your reason. I think that's the proper way to address the dispute. And at the same time, we also shouldn't call people brainwashed nationalists just because he or she has shown their support to the government, because we can't set up the rule for others while we don't follow that rule, right? That's called double standard, and we don't want that. I understand calling people bad names instead of having a rational discussion is much easier because it's just so intuitive, but it's not helpful at all, and it will create more misunderstanding and hatred. Personally, I have a lot of people around me, including my family members, my friends. They have drastically different view against me, but we live a very peaceful life and we love each other. Now, during the era of the Chinese Cultural Revolution, countless people has lost their lives. Friends, colleagues, even family members have turned into enemy. Why? Because people lost their ability to think independently. There was no critical thinking, there was no rational discussion, there was only hatred at that time. And the people who didn't fit into the main narrative will be labeled as anti-China. I'm pretty sure no one wants that to happen again, right? So yeah, let's have less hatred and more rational discussion. Hopefully we can sort everything out and try to find some common ground, you know. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Hope everything makes sense in the video. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you want more content from ordinary Chinese people like me, I recommend you to subscribe my channel. And once again, thank you so much for all the love and support. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.